Welcome to East Bay Church of Religious Science, where spirit abounds, love overflows, and spiritual transformation begins. Welcome home.
God is all there is. God is love, joy, peace, power, strength, the allness in everything. I am knowing that this day, this service is filled to overflowing. It is God-led, God-directed, whole, perfect, and complete. It is the blessing. It is the encouragement. It is the upliftment for all those who have chosen to be here, to listen, to open their hearts, to be in communion with everyone, this community, our planet. It is all God. We are all in all that God is, for each one is God in full expression. I'm giving thanks for this day, this service, this opportunity to be in communion with that indwelling not by might,
not by power. Send your spirit, God. Send your mighty spirit, God.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the East Bay Church of Religious Science Sunday morning service. We are glad that you are joining with us. You will see on your screen, God is the only power in my life. And we will say it together. God is the only power in my life. Nothing from without can touch the perfect life of God within me. No past experience has power over me. I am a perfect child of God, and nothing that anyone has ever done or said can interfere with my divine inheritance. The power of God is greater than any circumstance in my life. The strength of God is mine to use. Turning away from all feelings of inadequacy, I discover all that I need is within me right now. As I forgive the past, I find that I have nothing to atone for and nothing to run away from. Casting off the old me, I discover my true self. I take dominion in my life. Old habits have no power over me. Conditions have no power over me. Personalities have no power over me. I take dominion. I am whole. I am free. I am complete. Now and forevermore. Yes. Now our announcements. And as you'll see on your screen, East Bay is a community with a lot going on. And there are a plethora of opportunities to join in with your community, to see those faces, those love squares on the screen. Acknowledge all of those who made this service possible today. Our amazing musical inspiration, NuDay, featuring Lisa Bayless, Regina Woods, Andrea Bremley, and our Vanessa Wynn. Daryl Thompson is on drums. My name is Kay Suzanne. I am your pulpit assistant for today. Our service coordinator is Sherry Greer. Virtual prayer box is our mamacita, Sharon Porter. Virtual visual. We also have our after service prayer practitioners today. That is Brenda King Randall, Latoya Lopez, and Robert Quintara Hopkins. On audio visual, Brett Richards, J.J. Harris, and Byron Hoffman. And now it is my express opportunity to introduce our speaker for today, who is Reverend D. Jacquelyn Edwards. Reverend D. Jacquelyn Edwards is an ordained Centers for Spiritual Living minister. As of September 4th, 2020, she is the Community and Civic Engagement staff minister here at the East Bay Church of Religious Science. She is a member of the CSL Spiritually Motivated, Socially Engaged Committee and a board member of One Life Institute. Reverend Jacquelyn's ministry emphasizes spirituality as a path to prosperity, justice, and peace. I would also like to add, she is, for me, a face of East Bay. I remember meeting her years ago. She was loving, caring, welcoming, and embracing, committed to this community. And now, Reverend D. Jacquelyn, after you hear the musical inspiration of our amazing NuDay.
Today, we celebrate spirit. This song is about the human spirit and what happens when we're on one accord. We together can create earth-changing power. We call on our ancestors.
Wishikwa mudamrefu fame.
Wishikwa, wishikwa.
Wishikwa mudamrefu fame.
Wishikwa, wishikwa.
Yeah, yeah, and the wind is talking. Yeah, yeah, for the very first time. With a melody that pulls you towards it, painting pictures of paradise, saying, rise up to the light of the sky, yeah. Lift your heart to the light, heart up. Burn your flame through the night. Oh, Spirit, watch the heavens open. Yeah, Spirit, can't you hear it calling? Yeah, 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 and the water is crashing, trying to keep your head up high. While you're trembling, the magic happens, and the stars gather by your side, saying, rise up to the light of the sky, yeah. Let the light lift your heart up. Burn your flames through the night. Oh, Spirit, watch the heavens open. Yeah, Spirit, can't you hear it calling? Yeah, your destiny is coming close. Stand for what's right. So go off to that far-off land and be one with the great I am, and be one with the great I am. Oh, Spirit, watch the heavens
Lisa Bayless, Regina Woods, Andrea Brimley, and Vanessa Wynn on piano, Daryl Thompson on drums. Spirit. Black is king. In case you did not recognize that, Black is king, Beyonce. If you have not seen it, please do. Black is king. And so what I know is that as I stand on this hallowed ground, this sacred ground, this place that I call the East Bay Church of Sanctified Religious Science, I know that indeed my ancestors stand at my back. I know that I stand on their shoulders, and I know that there is a way and ways in which, this word is heard in the same way that it is expressed, to and from the heart. And so I simply say thank you, Father, Mother, God, for our communion here today. I say thank you, thank you, thank you for all the wisdom, for all the words, and for all the ways that we are here for a time such as this. Ashe and amen. Greetings, 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 greetings. I am Reverend D. Jacquelyn Edwards, and my topic today is what if? What if? And we are going to consider in the context of who we are, where we've been, where we are, and where we're going, some what ifs. Last week, my colleague on the One Life Institute board, Reverend Kamal Hassan, shared with us this idea that work without faith is a distraction. That gives us the opportunity to look at what is this thing that we call faith. I invite us to consider that faith is this opportunity that we have to maintain a constant connection, a constant contact with God. Some people call that praying unceasingly. Now, in order for us to get to that place of praying unceasingly or having that constant connection with God, we are required to gather trust. Gathering trust is necessary for faith to be more than a pretense or a naive fantasy. In other words, for your trust to be real, you've got to put something in it. The key to gathering trust is one's own commitment. This is a quote now. I'm reading from the Book of Practical Faith by D. Patrick Miller, and we're going to reference him a bit today. Mr. Miller says, the key to gathering trust is one's own commitment to truthfulness and personal honor. A commitment necessarily leavened with compassion for human frailty and forgiveness of the human tendency to fail. Okay, let's just capture that little bit right there. So work without faith is a distraction. So we got to work on our faith. How do we work on our faith? What is faith? Faith is this process of maintaining a constant contact with God. It means that as I'm walking through the world, no matter what happens, no matter what shows up, I spread some love on it, I spread some prayer on it. I go into my toolbox of spiritual practices and pull out whatever it is that I need to use in the moment. which, according to this gentleman, Mr. Miller, is going to include some just bless you, honey. It's going to include some compassion. When we say just bless you, that's what we're doing. We're talking about having a compassionate expression. According to Mr. Miller, it also includes the forgiveness of the human tendency to fail, to mess up. Now, there is also a idea that goes along with this human tendency to mess up, that in our messing up is how we learn and grow, right? It's in our falling down that we learn to get up, and that we learn to stand, and we learn to stand solidly, and we learn to take our lessons and bring them into our lives so that we can make good and make more good, not just for ourselves, but for everybody. And we're going to get back to that momentarily. Finally, sort of semi-finally, because I'm going to circle back to him one more time, but Mr. Miller says, and this is in the book of Practical Faith. It's a little bitty book. It's one of those books that has less than 100 pages, but there's a lot in those 100 pages. The next great evolution in human experience will be fundamentally spiritual. I'm going to say that again. The next great evolution will be fundamentally spiritual in nature, not political or technological. And this evolution is, in fact, already underway. Already underway. Now, I just want to tell you that he wrote this book in 1995, right? So that's 25 years ago. This evolutionary process was already underway. So what if that evolutionary process that was already underway required this mess that we have created for ourselves? What if the evolutionary process requires that we get to see who's who and what's what? Because we are most certainly getting to see who's who and what's what. We are getting to have a real-time experience of all that it is that is keeping us stuck in our present, stuck in some ideas and some concepts that have demonstrated time and time and time again that they just don't work. So what is she talking about? Some ideas and some concepts like greed. And how does that show up? That shows up like, ooh, profit over people. That shows up like somebody saying, well, you know, we can save some money if we take the staff that has COVID and we let them treat the COVID people. Really? 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 Profit over people is one of those ways that it shows up. It shows up in saying that this one is less than that one because it shows up in all of that vocabulary that we are learning, all of those principles and ideas that we are having the opportunity to sit and be with. While I am not Catholic, I want to share with you that I truly believe, and I'm believing this from the core of my understanding of what sainthood means. A saint is a person who has either, sometimes not even consciously, made what is considered to be the ultimate sacrifice. They have given their life for a higher cause. They have sacrificed for the good of the mass, for the good of the community. They have taken some action, again, consciously or unconsciously, and I'm adding that part out of my non-Catholic vocabulary. They've done something that shakes it up, that moves it up, that moves it out, that exposes something. And so in that context, I want to tell you that I honestly believe that George Floyd should be canonized. I believe that our children and our children's children should be having the opportunity to talk about Saint George, and it be Saint George Floyd that they are talking about. What if we already, right now, have enough faith and trust within each one of us to do what needs to be done? When Kay Suzanne was reading my bio, she said that effectively I came home. This is home, East Bay Church of Religious Science, East Bay Church of Sanctified Religious Science, that I officially came home on September 4th. Well, there's a little piece in the bylaws that says if you've been away from home too long, then you gotta go through the membership orientation so you can find out who we are and who we've become since you left. Yes, I had a little attitude about that because I was here for 25 years before that. Howsoever, God always has a plan. And my good is always operating. I need you to say that wherever you are. I need you to say that with me. My good is always operating. The thing that I need to know is always being revealed to me. So I went to the membership orientation, and it was wonderful. It was absolutely wonderful. A part of that membership orientation included a piece by our practitioner, Luritha Singel-Mensah, and she presented a piece on African religion and tradition. Whoa, what did she say? African religion and tradition as a part of the foundation of this thing that we call religious science? African religion and tradition as the where it came from-ness? African religion and tradition, that which is in our DNA as an intimate part of the ancient wisdom from which we came? We say new thought and ancient wisdom. New thought and ancient wisdom is so often taken back to Plato, taken back to Socrates, taken back to the Greco-Roman era. A very close colleague, someone that I've known for a very, very long time, and someone that some of you know, Reverend Muwata Rasuli. Every time we are in conversation, he reminds me that when I came to this place originally in the late 1980s, actually it was the mid-1980s, that one of the things that I was fond of saying and that I still say is that, you know, this is an African religion. What? This is an African religion. So let's take that, let's play with that a little bit. This idea that this is an African religion. Now, up until the new member orientation, my understanding of that was intuitive. It was just a feeling that anytime we're talking about a philosophy, an idea, a practice that says that God is all there is nothing else regardless of appearances, then we're talking about an African spirituality. During this period of the COVID, during this period post-June, post the public assassination of George Floyd, there has been a lot of revelation, a lot of truth being revealed about the history of African people in these United States. As I looked at these revelations, not things that I necessarily did not know, but you know when you get information in a compressed period of time, it has a deeper impact on you. When you get it in a shorter period of time, when you're hearing and you're reading every day, it has a way of sinking and resonating in your system that invites you to go back to this idea. We got over through the years, through the millennia, through hundreds of years, through something that was inherently ingrained within us. This is an African tradition in the ancient wisdom side of the house. I invite us to consider that when we ask that question, what time is it? And some of us say it is revolution time, that the revolution that we are to be about, and some people say we just need to be about God's business. The revolution that we need to be about is recognizing, recognizing, remembering from whence we came. Because in order to do the work that we're called forth to do, we have to know from whence we came. We have to understand the principles that go towards building that faith that is required as we walk through the world and do the things that it is that we are here to do. Well, after being teased by Laretha, I decided to do some research. And as Spirit would have it, I discovered some very interesting points, some very interesting intertwining between this thing that we call science of mind, religious science, this thing that we understand to be built upon the ancient wisdom as well as the new thought, I discovered some interesting intersections. That's a word we're using a lot right now, intersectionality. So I want to invite us to look at some of this intersectionality. We're talking ancient wisdom now. When I look at the Ifa, I-F-A, the Ifa tradition, I see a few important interwoven characteristics. From the research, Ifa is characterized by a deep sense of the interdependence of life. An interdependence of all of life. In religious science, we call that oneness. There are 16 principles of Ifa. I'm going to read them, but we're going to look at the intersections of a few of them. The first one is that this is a benevolent meaning well-meaning and kindly universe. This is a benevolent universe. Now, in religious science, we say we believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of life. to all. Number 2 is you need have no fear. Number 3 is there is a single creative force. Some call that God. In the Ifa tradition, we call it Olodumare. In religious science, we say we believe in God, the living spirit almighty, one, indestructible, absolute, and self-existent cause. This one manifests itself in and through all of creation, but is not absorbed by its creation. The manifest universe is the body of God. In Ifa, there is a single creative force. Number 4, there is no devil. Number 5, it is your birthright to be joyful, successful, and loved. It is your birthright. We believe the ultimate goal of life to be a complete emancipation from all discord of every nature, and that this goal is sure to be attained by all. Number 6, heaven is home and earth the marketplace. We are in constant passage between the two. We are in constant passage between our anchored faith and our temptations to be some other kind of way in the world. 7, you are part of the universe in a literal, not figurative way. This is Ifa. You are part of the universe in a literal, not figurative way. We believe in the individualization of the spirit in us, and that we are all individualizations of the one spirit. Character determines outcome. That's 8. 9, we're going to just pause on this for about 2, maybe 10 seconds, maybe 5. Supremacy is evil. I'm going to say that again. Supremacy is evil. So when we're bringing to light this idea of white supremacy, what we know at a cellular level, what we know from the ancestors, this philosophy, this understanding, this practice that is Ifa goes back 6,000 years. 6,000 years. Supremacy is evil. 10, you must never initiate harm to another human being. 11, you must never harm the universe of which you are a part, right? Now, our grandmother said it a little bit differently, and I'm in the pulpit, so I'm not going to exactly say it like they said it, but you know, they say there's some things you don't do where you eat. You must never harm the universe of which you are a part. Number 12, there can be no discrimination. I can't decide that I don't like you, don't accept you, and this goes both ways, y'all. This goes both ways. This is one of those, there can be no discrimination. Notice it is not saying there can be no racism, because racism and discrimination are different. Discrimination is an individual expression towards another individual. It is also one of the ways in which racism plays out. I'm not trying to downplay or negate that, but I am personalizing it, right? I'm personalizing it. I'm working with myself to work with a broader consciousness that is as inclusive in how I walk through the world as I want other folks to be with me. 13, diversity is the hallmark of God's creation, which means that every one of us, however it is we look, however it is that we are showing up, is perfect, is divine, and most importantly, is needed, is required for the work that we have to do. 14, you select your destiny and your guardian angel. 15, divination provides the roadmap to your destiny. In other words, I can figure it out. There is that within me that knows. And 16, balance, growth, and wisdom are your goals. I want to briefly return to number 7. You are a part of the universe is in a literal, not a figurative way. When we say we believe in the individualization of the spirit and that we are all individualizations of the one spirit, we have taken that to mean that what we are up to and what we are about is building my own personal good, my individualized good. It means that I seek abundance for me. It means that I want more for me. And usually me includes me and mine. This is where we get off track. When we focus on the me for the purpose of aggrandizing the me, we're not getting it. We're not understanding. The whole point of making the me more conscious, the whole point of expanding my abundance, the whole idea of affirming my birthright is to serve the we, is to serve the greater community, is to bring all of these skills, all of this wealth of knowledge, of information, to bring all of it to the good of the all, to the good of the community. We got this, y'all. We got this. The fact that we raised our hands in some place, wherever we were before we got here, and said, I want to be there for that party. That's what we said. I want to get there and be there and participate in and be an essential element in the transition, in the evolution to the place where we understand that we are living from a spiritual place. I want to be a part of that. And when I say that I want to be a part of that, you know I'm talking about you and me. It means that I need to be prepared. It means that I need to be open. It means that I need to have my spiritual toolbox. And it means that I need to understand that everybody's got to be at the table. When we understand that each one of us individually, as well as each one of us in whatever groups we want to call ourselves, be it African American, be it Asian, be it South American, whatever group, whatever kind of things we want to call ourselves, we call ourselves that as a means, as a way of identifying the wisdom that we bring to the table. We do that so that when we each bring our piece of the puzzle, we can collectively move forward. But there has to be a space where we continue telling the truth, where we continue the expansion of the work. On December 3rd, we're going to have a workshop that's going to be presented by the Sacred Activism Ministry here at East Bay Church, and we're going to talk about what we're going to do in the lame duck session, right? That's what we're in now, that session in between the election time and when the new people get to come on board. Some of us think that the new people coming on board means that we get to rest. Okay, you get to rest. Time's up. Get busy. In this time frame, this is the time that we put our strategies together for our hit the ground running work that we need to be about. Some people say, I'm going to be about God's business. When we include the African perspective, when we include the indigenous perspectives, we are bringing the ancient wisdom to the forefront so that we can use what our ancestors have already laid out so clearly for us to move into our greater yet to be. In the Bible that our ancestors took and used and infused with what they knew at the DNA level, there is the book of Proverbs. Proverbs 4 verse 7 says, the beginning of wisdom is this: get wisdom, though it cost all you have, get understanding. Cherish her, and she will exalt you. Somebody else said, and the last shall be first. The Global Health Security Index, some people that put together and say what's going to happen because this thing has happened. In 2019, those people ranked countries according to their preparedness for pandemics. The United States was identified as the most prepared country, while most African countries were deemed to be least capable of dealing with any new health threats. Wow. Somebody said, As it turns out, this prediction could not have been further from the truth. As of November 13th, today is the 21st, we were talking a few days ago, the African countries contributed only 3.6% of cases of COVID and 3.6% of COVID-19 deaths worldwide. Now, the people of the African continent represent about 26% of the people on the earth. I didn't break it down by country, but they represent 26% of the people on the earth and 3.6% of COVID cases and COVID deaths. There is something to be learned from reaching back. Wrapping up, we've got work to do. Forgiveness is at the top of the list. I said I'd come back to Mr. Miller. He tells us that to trust the world, you must trust yourself first. To trust yourself, you must be willing to forgive the unforgivable. Anything that seems unforgivable is an angry God within you, even if it seems to be outside you. To overcome an angry God within, it may be necessary to climb the stone face of fear. Returning to Proverbs, we are invited to let your eyes look straight ahead, to fix your gaze directly before you, to give careful thought to the paths for your feet, and be steadfast in all your ways. Ashe, amen, amen, aho, and so it be.
All right, come on now. If you sleep, wake up. If you feel the spirit and you feel like dancing, get up in your house right now. I'll be dancing in the spirit. She praise him, yeah, till you feel it. I'll be dancing in the spirit. You should praise him, yeah, till you feel it. Whoa, 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 whoa. I'll be dancing in the spirit. You should praise him if you feel it. I'll be dancing in the spirit. You should praise him, yeah. When I think of what the Lord has done, look at where he's brought me from. I can hardly hold my peace, and I sure can't keep my seat. You better give me some room to run. Just as sure as the anointing comes, I'll be dancing in the spirit. You should praise him if you feel it. I'll be dancing in the spirit. You should praise him, yeah. You feel it. Whoa, 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 when I think of what the Lord has done, look at where he's brought me from. I can hardly hold my peace, and I sure can't keep my seat. You better give me some room to run. Just as sure as the anointing comes, I'll be dancing in the spirit. You should praise him till you feel it. I'll be dancing in the spirit. You should praise him till you feel it. Oh, do you feel like dancing this morning? I hope you're up on your feet, 'cause the spirit's in me. I hope it's in you. I'll be, yeah, I'll be dancing.
Gotta keep dancing.
Keep on dancing.
Gotta keep dancing.
Keep on dancing.
Gotta keep dancing.
Oh,
Don't stop dancing.
don't stop dancing.
Don't stop dancing.
Don't you stop dancing.
Don't stop dancing.
Don't stop dancing.
Don't stop.
Whoa,
We'll keep dancing.
keep on dancing.
We'll keep dancing.
Dancing in the spirit.
We'll keep dancing.
Keep on dancing, yo.
Keep dancing in the spirit.
You should praise him if you feel it. I'll be
Dancing in the spirit.
You should praise him,
Till you
yeah.
feel it.
And now we are at our time of gracious giving. Gracious giving means that I am giving from my heart, that I am understanding that in that way that I am divinely connected to all that is because of my contribution to it. What we know is that our giving experience is one that allows us to taste and see. On our screen, you can see that there are numerous ways that you can contribute to our community, East Bay Church of Sanctified Religious Science. And today I want to particularly encourage you, in addition to your giving to your planned giving on this date. I know how we do. We figure out how much we're going to put in church today. I want to invite you to remember that we're in the holiday time and that this is a community that feeds community. And one of the ways that we do that is through our homeless support program, through our community outreach. Practitioner Ona Afre has for years been the head of, the lead in this great gift to humanity of feeding, of providing toiletries for, of providing shelter, of giving tents and other kinds of shelter to our homeless brothers and sisters. You can support that effort in addition to your tithing and your offering by texting outreach, OUTREACH, outreach to 50155. The promise is that as we give, God says yes to enlarging my territory.
Bless me, bless me, oh Lord, bless me indeed, enlarge my territory, oh Lord, bless me indeed. I pray for increase. Bless me indeed. I pray for increase. 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 Oh Lord, bless me indeed. Enlarge my territory. Oh Lord, bless me indeed. I pray for increase. Bless me indeed. I pray for increase. Bless me indeed. I pray for increase.
The prayer of Jabez is one of the shortest sections in the Bible, and it ends with, Jabez asked that my territory be increased, and it was done. Ask and we shall receive. I invite you to join me in taking a deep breath in and release. And with the inhalation and the exhalation, we remember that it is Mother God that is breathing us. We remember that all of our tithes and offerings not only go exactly to where they do the most perfect good, but that they return to us, pressed down, multiplied together, shaken together, and running over. What we know is that this experience and this opportunity that we call prayer works. And so today I speak a word knowing that all prayer is good prayer, all prayer is answered prayer, knowing that wherefore I send my word, good is done and done well. And so I declare that there is wholeness, that there is health, that there is a new cause being set into motion that is a cause of health and healing, and that it waves. It goes like waves across the land, pushing out everything in front of it. What I know is that everything we need to know and everything that we need to do to create this experience of wholeness and health and peace and prosperity is ours, and that we use it. What I know and what I declare is that there's a healing in relationships, that any and every place there might appear to be a separation, that separation is healed. What I know is that any place there may appear to be a financial need, that need is met. That God, the good to which there is no opposite, is operating as financial freedom, is operating as abundance, is operating as the good that it is to which there is not now or ever any opposite. It is with a deep sense of gratitude, an abiding sense of gratitude for all that has already been given, all that we give and receive in the moment, and all that we are yet to experience, that I release this prayer to the immutable, perfect, and impeccable law that always and in always simply says yes. And in this gratitude, in this releasing of this prayer, I just say thank you for our service today. Thank you for our service providers today. Thank you, Kay Suzanne, for being our pulpit assistant. Thank you, NuDay, Lisa Bayless, Regina Woods, Andrea Brimbree, and Vanessa Wynn. Thank you, Daryl Thompson on drums. Thank you, Sherry Greer, for coordinating this. Thank you, Sharon Porter, Mama Sita, for holding the virtual prayer box. Thank you, thank you, thank you for our wonderful audio-visual team, without whom none of this would be possible. Thank you, Brett Richards. Thank you, J.J. Harris, and thank you, Byron Hoffman. Thank you for our practitioners that are available for prayer for you after this service. Hopefully you've had some things to think about, and sometimes in the thinking we need to spread some love on it, and one of the best ways to do that, to spread some love on it, is to spread some prayer on it. So we have practitioner Brenda King Randall, practitioner Latoya Lopez, and practitioner Robert Quintana Hopkins waiting for you, waiting for your call, waiting for your ask, waiting for your willingness to stand on your faith, to answer the call to try me. Spirit says, try me. Oludumare says, try me and see if I will not pour you out a blessing so big that you will not have room enough to receive it. Ashe. Amen, amen, aho. And so it be.
Oh, Spirit, watch the heavens open.
Watch the heavens open.